Hello everyone, my name is Miss Chatman. Today we're going to be discussing drama and dramatic play. Before we get started, I'm going to share with you a couple of tools that I have. I think they'll make this lesson a little bit more interactive and memorable. The very first tool I have is my notebook. I keep it nearby so that I can have the opportunity to jot down important terms or ideas that I need to have access to later on. The second thing that I have are my expo markers. I also have my portable whiteboards. I even have some props. All right, let's take a look at our easel here. These are your components of drama: plot, theme, dialogue, character, conflict, and spectacle. I want you to take out your pen or pencil, and I want you to write in your notebook 3 sentences in your own words of what you think drama really is. What's drama? How is it expressed? Well, if you've ever been to the movie theater and you've ever seen a motion picture, you've experienced drama. If you've ever been downtown to see a live play, you've experienced drama. If you've ever sat and listened to a riveting tale, you've experienced drama. While you're working on your 3 sentences, I'm going to share with you the textbook definition of drama. It's a mode of fictional representation through dialogue and performance. Before we get started on those elements, I have one little exercise that I'd like to do. I'm going to portray a community helper or two, and I want you to guess what or who I am. All right, boys and girls, settle down. It's story time. Make your way to your assigned seats. Good morning, Mrs. Smith. What brings you by the office today? Oh, you have a terrible tummy ache. Let's see if we can't get that fixed. Well, if you guessed that I was a teacher for the first community helper, you were 100% right. If you guessed that I was a doctor for the second community helper, you were 100% right again. Now we can get started. Drama comes from the word drawn, which coincidentally means to act or move. It's a kind of story composed in dialogue, not to be read, but to be watched as it is performed on a stage. Plot. This is what happens in the play. The plot is the basic storyline. Theme. This is the main idea or lesson to be learned from the play. Characters. Characters are the people or animals or ideas portrayed by the actors in the play. Dialogue. This refers to the words written by the playwright and spoken by the characters in the play. Spectacle. This refers to the visual elements of a play. The lights, the set, the scenery, the costumes, the makeup, all of those things that transport us from an auditorium to a jungle safari. Conflict. This is an ongoing struggle between 2 opposing forces. All right. Now you need to know that within the plot, there's a structure. The very first thing that you will find is the exposition. That underlines the plot. It tells us what's going on, and it gives us an idea of the situation or problem. The second thing is the rising action. Here's where you'll see those opposing characters start to disagree or bump heads. Then we've come to the climax, the crisis portion of any story, the most interesting part of the play. Then we have the falling action, where the characters realize what they've done wrong or right. Last, you have the exposition. What happened to these characters, and how does this story end? Let's go back over our important terms once more. Plot, theme, dialogue, character, conflict, and spectacle. I've had a great time discussing drama with you. We're going to talk a little bit about spectacle. You heard me say that spectacle was all of those wonderful things like lights, sound, costume, makeup, and props that immerse us in the world of theater. Well, I have a little bit of spectacle of my own. I can control the light in front of me. If I were to restrict it, I would probably be trying to indicate that it is either late in the evening or that I'm in a space where not much natural light is allowed. Also, if I were to add sound, I would try to get the audience to feel some sort of emotion, depending on what music is chosen. So let's see. Well, I had a great time being sneaky. It's one of my favorite tunes. As you can see, changing the light and adding sound completely changes the atmosphere or the space. All right, I want you to write down in your notebook 3 ways that spectacle contributes to theater. Now that we've taken away a little light, we want to talk about safety. It's very important for not only the crew, but the cast as well to maintain safety on and off the stage. Cast safety looks like this. Making sure if your costume is a little bit too big or oversized, that the fabric is not going to cause you to trip or fall. The last thing you want is a wardrobe malfunction in the middle of a show or to fall in the middle of a show as a result of the excess fabric. Makeup. Sometimes when actors are playing character roles, they have to apply latex, and it's a very good idea to make sure you don't have any allergies to any materials that you put on your face or your skin. Props. When you're really excited and feeling all types of emotions, it's easy to forget a prop on stage. You put the other actors in danger when you leave a prop on stage in a place where it's not supposed to be. Then a crew member has to figure out a way to get it off stage and back to the prop table where it belongs. Make sure your entrances and exits are clear when you get ready to step on stage and when you're leaving off. Be very mindful of the set around you so that you don't have an accident where scenery or a huge set piece falls on or near you. Let's talk about our crew members' safety as well. If you look at the easel, one of the most important things to think about is how heavy those light instruments are. Always make sure that you have the help and permission of someone designated and qualified to use or move them. Set. The crew is responsible for putting together and striking the set. If they need help, they'll ask another crew member who knows how to move that set piece or those set pieces without incident. Scenery. Those trifolds are extremely heavy. If it feels like it's too much and you're overwhelmed, don't forget to ask a crew member for help. Better safe than sorry. Props. Again, if an actor mistakenly leaves a prop on stage, these guys have to find it and strike it as soon as possible. Make sure you're not putting yourself in harm's way while striking the prop. Tools. If you're asked to use tools, make sure that you are using them with someone who is qualified, trained, and has given you permission to use that tool. Always follow the safety guidelines on any tool you use, big or small. Debris. I've seen things like nails on the stage. Sometimes they accidentally fall out of place. If you see anything, pick it up right away and put it away from the set until you need it and you know exactly where it goes. All right. I want you to go back to your notebook and write 3 things about safety as it pertains to the theater. You can write about the cast safety as well as the crew and the audience members. Don't forget about the director. Now that those actors have put their props away, we need to think about our voice. You need to consider your vocal elements at your disposal. Think about your character's accent and register and the type of performance you are required to play. You should practice your articulation and breathing most every chance you get. Your voice tells you so much about a person, where they come from, their personality, how they're feeling. An actor's voice needs versatility. It must be able to communicate a wide range of emotions. It must have clarity so that every word can be heard and with enough strength and resonance to fill a theater auditorium. An actor also needs excellent breath control so that they won't run out of steam or power midway through a line. They must ensure that the sound they make is well supported by steady air, so they're able to deliver their lines in a way that is sustained and controlled. Here are a couple of vocal elements to consider. Your pitch, pace, pause, tone, volume, accent, emphasis, and intonation. Let's take a look at what a pitch is. Speaking in a high, low, or natural voice. A pace is the speed with which you speak, the speed of your response in an argument. Pause. A dramatic pause at a crucial moment is very effective for a performance. Tone. Suggest your mood and your intention towards the listener. Whether you're happy or sad, Volume. You must be audible to the audience, but not shout at them. Accent. You need to consider the accent that will work for your character specifically. Emphasis. This is the pressure on individual words that makes them stand out. There is a natural stress on syllables as we speak, such as the first syllable in cabbage, but emphasis or stress for a particular effect is significant and can change the meaning of a sentence as well as the feeling behind it. Intonation, the rise and fall of the voice. There's a clear movement up when we ask questions, for example. Intonation always helps us to say exactly what we mean. I recommend you warming up before every rehearsal in every show. All right, I want you to take your notebook and your pen, and I want to see you write down how important the voice element is to a show, how important it is for the actor to be heard. And I want you to think about what other elements of spectacle contribute to the overall production of a show. Let's say you've got the last line in the entire play, and you are the cue to give a blackout in the light booth. But if they cannot hear you, chances are they'll miss the cue. We're going to talk a little bit about articulation and enunciation. Articulation is the clarity and expressiveness with which we speak. You articulate sounds with your lips, your teeth, your tongue, your jaw, and your palate. You use your mouth to vary these sounds in tone, volume, pitch, and quality. To enunciate, on the other hand, refers to the physical sounds you make when you speak to convey that clarity and expressiveness. Clear articulation requires such deliberate actions such as pausing slightly before you utter hard consonants, such as T or B. Enunciation exercises help you to differentiate your vowel sounds and make the beginning and end of each word distinct and crisp. You have to train your mouth. You have to speak up so that you can be heard and understood. Make sure you inflect your speech. Exercising your vocal cords will help you avoid speaking in a monotone. Infuse your utterances with the natural rising and falling pitch of sentences, up at the end of a question and down at the end of a statement. There are a couple of tongue twisters that I'd like to share with you. A big black bug bit a big black bear, and a big black bear bled blood. She sells seashells by the seashore. You know you need unique New York. You know unique New York needs you. I'm going to give you a second to try those tongue twisters out. Let's take a look at enunciation. They, posture, relaxation, pace, breathing deeply, and a relaxed jaw are always ways to improve your enunciation. I want you to go back to your notebook with your pen and write down how important it is for an actor not only to be heard, but to be understood in a production it is. I also want you to think about any of those spectacle factors that may improve your experience in the theater. Well, I've had an amazing time hanging out with you guys. going over some very important elements of drama. I hope that you were able to contribute to your notebook. It's been my pleasure. Before I say goodbye, I want to present a monologue to you. If there is talk against us, I know the source. It's Daphne and her little husband, of course. Oh, yes, she's strict and devout and has no taint of worldliness. In short, well, she seems a saint. But it was time which taught her that disguise. She's thus because she cannot be otherwise. So long as her attractions could enthrall, well, she flounced and flirted and enjoyed them all. But now that they are no longer what they were, she quits a world that is fast quitting her, and wears a veil of virtue to conceal her bankrupt beauty and lost appeal. That's what becomes of old coquettes these days, distressed when all of their loved ones fade away. They see no recourse but to play the prude, and so confer a style on solitude. Thereafter they'll sever with everyone, condemning all of our actions and pardoning none. That is from Tartuffe, written by Molière. It has been my pleasure to spend this time with you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for keeping your notebook. Thank you for tuning in. Drama rules. Bye.